As you can hear, it's raining, but it's a new week, which means that we are headed to pottery class. I am, as an early Christmas present to myself, taking pottery classes at my local art museum for a 10-week session where I get to go and make whatever I want. I have avoided the wheel for the most part because it's really hard, so I've been hand building. It's something I'm comfortable with. So I will take you along with me. I am probably only going to record little bits and pieces, so that way I'm not recording other people in the pottery studio, but it is something that I am enjoying, and it's a great way to start my week. It's now 8 p.m. The pottery class went well. I just put the girls to bed, and now we're going to work on Heather Gallman's wrap skirt. Apologies for this heavy breathing from this man right here. We are going to work on Heather Gallman's wrap skirt. I made it in a size 4 yarn before, but it was a bit too thick for what I was hoping. So we're going to try it in this smaller size crochet thread. Not sure if that's going to work out well, but we are going to try it in shades of blue and purple, and I thought it'd be really pretty for a swimsuit cover-up. This is a gift as part of my 2025 gift giving list. I am deciding to make all of my gifts, for the most part, for this 2025 year. So this is one of my gifts for Christmas that I need to work on. So I'm going to get that started and probably throw on some HGTV. And then I'll probably check in with you tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. Today's the start of a new day. Yesterday I went to pottery class and started a new crochet project. As I mentioned at the beginning of 2025, I created a list of presents to make for everybody throughout the year as I was trying to buy less and make more in 2025. So I started a new present yesterday, but I have a list of things to get done this week, and you are going to be my accountability partner. Yes, I left them all off until the end of October, but that is on me. I'm a little bit ambitious with my list this week. I am trying to sew a pair of shorts for the first time using Sydney Graham's Lane Pants pattern as an adjusted shorts. I'm also trying to make the girls the same pattern but with pants for children. So I'm just going to use a pair of their pants to utilize as a pattern, following Sydney Graham's instructions for how to use your own clothes as patterns. I was watching tutorials on sewing, and which is why I've kind of avoided sewing this whole time, because ironing is not something I do. I've never ironed. My mother is a big fan of ironing, and I've never been a fan. I liked steaming, but my steamer broke, so maybe I need to go buy a new one. Maybe that'll be my solution. I do have a hot heat press for when I was doing Cricut things, so maybe I can just use that. In the meantime, I will experiment and see how that goes. I will try to get away with the least amount of ironing as possible. With that, I am going to be cutting out pumpkins as well to do the reverse applique embroidery, as well as with the leftover pumpkin pattern fabric. I am ordering other fabric for my brother-in-law's gift for his birthday and sweatshirts. So I'm making them reverse applique sweatshirts. They're about to become parents. I thought that would be cute. So I'm getting them their favorite movies from childhood and making them as part of a sweatshirt. So that would be really fun. I am also trying to make a few crochet projects. I am working on a wrap skirt present. I also have a few other things in the backlog, like Christmas tree utensil holders that I got a pattern for, as well as a few sweatshirts. My daughters have been asking for sweatshirts for a while since I started this sweatshirt back here. It is still drying. I blocked it yesterday morning. Not correctly, as you can see, there's no pins or anything because I don't have a blocking board. So I'm just laying it out and hoping for the best. It is still soaking wet because I just threw it in my bathtub because it's so big. It was so heavy when I pulled it out of the wet water that it made me a little nervous. So we're going to see how this goes. It's probably going to take a few days to dry because I soaked this baby. So we'll see how this goes. I will update you when that's done. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. This morning I'm going to work on getting back to my crochet project. I worked, so I'm not used to working with this thin of string, but I worked for 2 hours last night, and this is all I got done. So, not a lot, but we're a work in progress. We are doing it. We're doing the thing. I liked this pattern with the big size 4 yarn, but I'm liking this a lot better. I like this thin pattern, or I like the thin yarn with this pattern. You can see the holes a bit better. It's going to be a lot lighter weight, which is what I want for a swimsuit cover up. So even though it's going to take me a lot longer with this small thread, I am excited to see how this turns out, and I'll update you when I'm done. Okay, so we are pausing the crochet project for this morning, and we are going to run to the library to print off the lane pant pattern. I don't have a printer at home, and I'm really nervous to be printing off this pattern. It's like 48 pages, which is a lot. The library only gives you 10 pages, I think, or 15 pages for free. So I'll be paying a few dollars. This pattern is costing me about $20 total, but we need to do my measurements to decide what pattern size I need to print out. So it says to do the smallest part of your waist. So I want to get the inches side first. So we are at the smallest point. Let's see, is a 33. And then at the hips, the biggest spot is at a 40-ish. There's 33 and 40, but this size, she says, does have a little bit of give on immediately built in, and I don't like my pants to be that big. Sydney is 5'7", and it's built for a 5'7" person, which makes sense. I am not 5'7", I'm 5'3" on a good day, so I'm definitely going to have to see how that factors in as I am doing this. Luckily, I'm making shorts first, so hopefully that won't be too big of a factor in this first go around. But we will see what pattern. I usually fall into an 8 right now, so we will see how this goes. My body has changed quite a lot since having my daughters 3.5 years ago, so I am just looking to make some clothes that actually fit and I feel comfortable in. Everything I buy at the store isn't really comfortable, and I do work from home, so I don't have to wear anything specific, but I'm tired of just lounging around in leggings or in sweatpants. They're not really my favorite things to do, and it makes me feel not very comfortable going out. So let's see how this goes. I will meet back up with you after I print them out at the library. Stopped at the library and printed off 41 pages. It was total 48, but I was able to get rid of some because my size didn't fall onto the other pages, so I didn't print out the blank pages. After the measurements, I compared it to the chart on the instructions, and it would have been between a waist fell in at the 12 size, and then the hips fell in at the 8 size. Because I'm traditionally an 8, I checked the overall garment measurements, and the 8 should fit me just fine. There's extra inches on both the hips and waist with the size 8, so we are going to try that out. I printed out the drawstring too, just in case I wanted to do drawstring in the future. I didn't want to come back to the library. It did cost me $4.65, so I am going to spend today and tomorrow hopefully cutting those out. Still working on the crochet project, and I'm going to start cutting out the pumpkins as well to get those started. Last night I got so much done. I was able to finish the majority of the skirt project. Let me pull it out here for us. I still want to do another row or two just because I don't want it to be too scandalous, but it is looking really stinking cute, and I love the colors, so mermaidy. I'm just loving it. It's very, very cute, but I'm almost done, so that's exciting. Maybe a few more rows and then that will be complete. And then while my daughters were watching Max and Ruby last night, I decided to cut out some of the pumpkins from our gnome hat, which I intend to make some sweaters and t-shirts out of those for me and the girls. Of course, I'm using, you know, a plant-based butter container because why not? I try to repurpose everything that I can. The sweatshirt is still drying. It's getting a little bit drier. I don't know if it's getting stiffer or what because of how long it's taking to dry, so we shall see. I might try to do a blow dryer to it later. I will figure that out in a little bit. But today we are going to finish working on the skirt. At my lunch break, I'm going to go to thrifting to find some sweatshirts for my sweatshirt project for my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. And then we will go from there, see what else I can get done today. So we're being pretty productive. It's, you know, Tuesday, so we're doing pretty good. We have a few more projects to finish this week to keep on track for Christmas, and we will see how that goes. All right, it is Tuesday at almost noon, and we are now finished with the wrap skirt for my mom. Took me only a few hours, maybe like 6 hours total to make this. Nothing bad. I used the crochet thread with a 3.5 millimeter hook, or the E size. So I would love it. I want to make one for myself. I'm thinking about trying to make like a top out of this. I think it's so cute. So I'm gonna try and figure that out. But I took one whole ball of the Artiste crochet thread to make this. So pretty good. All in one day's work. Now we are going to go thrifting. So we went to the thrift store, and I forgot to record in the thrift store, but we went shopping at Goodwill. Went in for sweatshirts. Got more than I requested, as always. Spent $84. I'm going to show you what we got. I picked out these blue sheets. I think they're going to make a great pattern for shorts, for PJs, for the girls, and for me. We got a cute sweatshirt for the girls, so I don't really need to show you. Let's see what else. I'm going to throw all these in the washer when I'm done. Then we got some nice Carhartt flannels for my husband. Got 2 of those in red and blue. Then he got a long sleeve shirt. None of this has to do with my crafting yet, besides the sheets. Got a button down. All that stuff is for him. Nothing for my projects there. It's one sweatshirt for the reverse applique projects. This is one of 2 options, so I might choose this one, or I might choose a different one for another reverse applique. Another possibility. And then we got this one where I'm going to have to take out the like flannel pattern underneath, but that's okay. I'll figure that out. Seems like an easy thing I can just cut out. And then, as always, we got a stack of DVDs to increase our DVD collection. So for $84, I definitely got sweatshirts that I can use for my projects over the next week, and DVDs that will make great Christmas presents. I still am missing 1 or 2, so I need to go back and get some more. Nothing for me this time besides craft projects. Oh yeah, and we got the sheets for the pajama shorts or pants. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them, but they were cute and I like them. So $10 for all that fabric seemed like a good deal. Today is now Wednesday morning. Last night we did the drawing dates where we do some drawing lessons from 21 Draw. It's a new lesson. I'll include my time lapse of my drawing. Don't judge me. This was like the first one in the series. We are learning how to draw cats and dogs, to draw a children's book for our daughters for Christmas. So that is what we are working on some nights a week in the next 2 months. And then this morning we are going to go get our pavers for the greenhouse floor for outside, so we can finally finish up the greenhouse so we can actually start planting some plants out there, get that green thumb going. And I'm going to take you with me, so we'll see how that goes. This is our Costco greenhouse, and we are adding tile to the floor today, so that way hopefully we can get planting soon. It's pretty cold today, so I would throw on a sweatshirt, but We are going to be adding concrete pavers and pea gravel. Excuse my red nose, but we are just outside in the 40-degree weather to get the pavers for the greenhouse floor. It took me about an hour to complete, $70-ish total for the pavers and the pea gravel that I put between. I'm going to throw in a clip of me putting in those pavers. I'm very excited. That means my greenhouse is basically ready to go. We took a pit stop at Michael's on the way home from Lowe's and got the fusible interfacing for the reverse applique process that I'm going to be doing this week. And I got my fabrics. I got Snoopy and we got SpongeBob. And then I have Finding Nemo coming from Etsy. There wasn't any stores nearby. And then they had this really pretty fabric, 100% cotton. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I'm thinking maybe some rompers for the girls. I think that would be really cute with this pattern. So I'm going to throw it in my sewing box and we'll get back to that project later because this week we are focusing on the reverse applique process. So hopefully I know how to do this. The sweaters are washed. So let's get to it. Today's a new day. Yesterday I got nothing done. It ended up being a more eventful family day than I expected. So we are moving on to today. Today I got all of the sweaters that I need for the project. So I am going to grab this water-soluble stabilizer and trace the letters out for the reverse applique project that I want to do. So today we're going to pick out the font and we are going to pick out the style and everything, copy it onto here with a marker, and then we will use that, cut it out, and do that on the sweaters. So hopefully this goes okay. I've never done this before, so we will find out. First thing we're going to do is open Canva and we are going to find a font that we like. That feels more appropriate. And obviously it's just a little bit bigger than mine. Okay, I think that works. Now that we have them all traced out, we are going to get these sweatshirts and put the fabric behind them and start the embroidery process, which I've also haven't done really. So we're gonna try this out. First time, you know, only a few days till the deadline, as always. Today is a new day. We got some embroidery done last night. It was a lot harder than I expected. I'll show you my progress when I get back to it later today. But today we are going to go shoot a photo shoot for my cousin and her boyfriend. And we're gonna go to the park, shoot some good photos, even though it's a little bit freezing, and then come back and I'll edit those and I'll show you what those look like. I decided to do a regular applique process with a satin stitch, and it is so much harder than I expected. I had never done this before. I don't know why. I just thought like, oh, this will be so easy. It took me an hour and a half last night to do just half of the letter A. I'm gonna try a different technique on the next letter, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to continue with what I did for this one because I only have half of a letter done out of 3 letters. So a little bit more than I thought, but definitely still doable. I have a few more days left to get this project done before it needs to be sent off for a birthday present.